Alright, everybody. Welcome back to Riven. We had just gotten done with the jungle island, or at least as much as we would like to do. Where's my audio? Okay, I was like, it's retardedly quiet. So yes, we will be coming back here in a little bit, but for now it's time to head to the next island, which is going to be through here. And this is one of my favorite traversal methods in the game. So without further ado, here we go. Here we go. Woo! So if you can't tell, we're actually underwater right now. So yeah, those were like heat coils that we passed through. Excuse me. And as we saw in the last episode, the water of Riven is heat phobic. It'll move away from it, which causes some pretty interesting effects. Which, including that, which is like, whew, the underwater tunnel with the red rings. Really good. Yes, I'd like to save. Old archaic stuff. I love it. So welcome to... Oh, I didn't see what island it was reading. Oh yeah, that noise. This is, I think, oh, Crater Island. Tree falls, a page arises. Boiler Island. Okay, so this is Boiler Island. There's nothing on this side here. Here's where I can kind of start to see some of the age. I can tell like this. Someone was having some rather simple designing and ZBrush or Maya or whatever they used. So this thing we fell on, let's thank the Dickens it was not active. Because if you recall from the Gehn pictures that we saw on Temple Island, this thing, you can actually see here, that was a paper mulcher. Which when we fell in there, we might have gotten mulched if we weren't careful. So essentially, that was, they sawed and they took down trees on Jungle Island and then put them in that little container, and it got sent here to Mulch Island, which as you can see here, there's something cooking over there. So let's go give that a look before we mess with this thing. Right now we are in actually one big old volcanic crater. As you can see, this has little flames underneath of it. This is, I think, where they pressurize the pulp of the to make paper, I believe. The whole thing he set up was just so he could make paper to get out of Riven. He probably framed it like, oh, I'm going to create a new world for you guys. And yeah, he just left them, I bet. That doesn't do nothing. Alright, that turns off the heat. That doesn't do anything yet, but there is something over here. This thing. Alright, so I don't think power... So power is going to this thing and this thing, but currently it's not activated yet. Because power is being driven through there. So... First we can see here... See, the heat dropped because we turned off the boiler, but the water is up, and that was also, there's nothing to walk on. Oh, we can actually see here, we can see the little window. Actually never, I don't think, looked in here when the water was up in recent time. I don't want to stand in here. It'd be a horrible thing you get stuck in. Okay, that's sealed behind me. Let's take a walk around first, foremost. You're walking here. We could have seen it with the flames up. Would be interesting, but There's a ladder over here. But it is blocked. Down we go. We do see there's a walkway up there and another bit of steam going that way. So, first we're gonna do, I think we currently have, let me check my power thing here. So this is the thing that controls the current steam power. In the middle of this lake, which is, if you can tell by, it's definitely like a boiling lake, judging by the very bright blue. Like, what do you call it? Yellowstone. Never been, but I know boiling lakes tend to look like this. If it's really bright blue, yeah, you probably don't want to go in there. It's probably what is it, high sulfur content. So this is just a little side thing you can see. Probably an achievement for this. Power to this. We activate it. That activates the mulcher. No achievement though. Oh well. Alright, so we have to now put power to the boiler. Okay, move that. Such nice sounds. Oh, you see that now? That thing up there? Can I look at it? Oh, there's fire. Fire coming out of that now. See, now there's a little bit of a white dot there. So there's power. I think it's gas, actually. It's burning. So, okay. The white dot there. And now if we do this, you see this raises up. Very good. So that's good, but the water is still raised. So you turn this, moves power to there, and then we pull this. And the water goes down. Drained. Now, it should be clear to go, but before we do go there, we have to do something, which is going to help us not backtrack. So that we need to now, again, put power to that mystery pipe. See, there's another pipe over here. I don't think I can go that far, though. But yes, now we have power going to that mystery pipe, which is in the direction we're going to be heading. And it should now help us a little bit later. Interestingly, that's still burning. Did I do it? The flame up there shouldn't be on. If I had. No, it's on. Strange. Oh, is it? Oh, is it that that little thing is because the fire that was there is now burning here instead? That's what that is. So yeah, that is steam power that powered those machines. But the flame that was down here is now in that little spout. Got it, got it. Okay. Now let's see what's down here. Through the mystery pipe. It's dark. Got some light. Oh, where am I? I guess this is the waste pipe. Yeah, see there's water there. From here, I think we saw another island. Over there. See that? And over there. Okay. Well, now we're up here. Oh, and then this is one of the coolest puzzles. Oh, it took me so long. But, I'll show you a little later. So you see now we had the power going here. She was powering this thing. So we have a weird trap. Here's something. Take a little bit of this. Put it on. And then we send it down. The weird thing that kind of looks like, I don't know, it looks like something I would have in my kitchen. And then we wait for a little bit. It might take a while. Hear that? Trap closed. What'd we get? You hear that? Does that sound familiar? That's the sound of the first animal thing we found. The key. Kiki. Kiki. For 3. We also saw its shape in the stone on Jungle Island. Alright, I think there are some additional animations you can get, which I'll just breeze through them if there are any. Alright, let's see if it's different. Should be. I think the animals have variations in their animation. Yeah, see he's in a different spot. There he goes. I think I heard a plunk, which means there's like a bit of water down there. Let's do it again. See? Mm-hmm. That one ate the bait. So I think there might have been just 3, but let me check. I've been waiting a while, and I don't think I've heard trap again. So you're probably wondering now 2 things. First, why do we have a thing to trap little frogs? It's my question 1. That'll be answered in a little bit. Question 2, where do we go from here? Well, there is an answer to that. First, I need to point out something here. So you see there is a thing here. There's a walkway going in this direction. Oh, and we also have this. So now we can get back down if we need to. However, I know the way. And this took me like a good couple of times to figure this out. But if we close these doors, there's something behind them. Hidden passageways. Was such a good, that was such, oh, good hiding space. So now we have our first encounter with these things. The big old dome. And this is going to be important that I need to remember. So you see there's a bunch of symbols on the dome. But one of them is gold. And what do we have over here? There appears to be something here in the wall. I wonder what that could be. Well, let's see if they play the same trick on us twice. You have a door? Aha! Such a good puzzle. Just, it's so simple. It is such a little simple thing to hide something. And it's so good. So now we have this thing. Little viewer thing. I have a little clicker on top here. So guess it, as you can guess, we're probably supposed to hit that at the right moment. But before I do that, I just need to make a note. So this is Boiler Island. Alright, here we go. So the symbol for this one is straight line. And then that did something there. What happened? What happened to it? It got all gold. That's what the gold domes. What do we got? Oh, appears to be a book, I think. We have some sort of thing. appears to be a combination that we do not currently have. We'll have to get that later. Alright. Well, that's one gold dome down. And now we know that is the symbol for this island. So, okay, let's see what's this direction. We got a building of sorts. We have that thing. I'm not going to mess with that just yet. It appears to be powering something. More of the blue. Ah, but it's locked. Can't get in yet. So what's this way? Oh, this leads us to the Dome Island again. I think I'm actually going to head this way first before heading back. And you remember, we powered... Remember we powered this? I told you it was going to come into play. So now... Now we can lower this. Ta-da! Oh, and there's actually some dunny that's written along the edge there. I need to... At one point I need to translate it. Someone must have already. But I really want to translate it. Oh, here we go again. Ah, this takes me back. It's like you had to be sure before you head to a new place. It's like, you want to go to the next island? You did everything on the other island? Technically, we have not. There's a couple more to see on that other island, but first I want to check over here. What's this island called? No, it doesn't tell me. I believe this is Temple Island. Alright, so we're back. We're over here now. Which means we can also do this. We can connect that. So yeah, that backtracks us back to the temple area, but let's see what's this way. Oh, yeah, dome. But we can't go any further. Oh, what's this? Aha! It was elevated. I have a dome there. What's over here? Oh, I think I know what this is. This leads us back to that spinning room, I believe. Remember there was that one door that was blocked? You remember? So now we can actually get through here as well. So now that that has been done, where are we at now? I'm actually wanting to go back to the Boiler Island. So there's a couple other things there we can do before we do anything else here. So I'm gonna quick head back there. So we gotta get into that temple thingy. Or it's not technically a temple, it's like a little house. So we didn't pull this lever. So let's see what this lever does. So this, if we see here, was being powered through here. I think it only turns it on and off. So now we turned it off. Let's see what that does. I think... no. Oh wait, it does. See if I caught a frog again. Nope. I think 3 frogs is all you get in the game. So that was turned off, which means we can now go through the vents, apparently. I don't know how big this vent is. I'm making my way, though. It's big enough, apparently. Of resources and refinement. I got the achievement. Trespass into Gehn's laboratory. Let's give a gander around. Ooh. So it looks like we have a lot of little stuff here. Let me first open these doors. So that leads to there. Well, there was a door that was locked. I think it was over here. Alright. Unlocked. At least I hope that was unlocked. We got a button here too. That did something, somewhere. So there's a lot of little things to explore here. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to read this. We have a little book. A little journal. Wait, before I do that, let's look around here. What do we got? Oh, he's got like some food, little fruits. Got a teapot, I think. What else we have? Ink. So yeah, he's also got ink. What else do we have? Oh. This looks like a star thing. But here, what do we got? It's one of these things. And that's number 1. That's the one we haven't found yet. But I know where it is. Okay, what do we have? July 28th, 1987. Last week, while monitoring the situation of the villagers from the scope of my survey room, I observed one of the natives swim out to a small object that appeared to be floating but anchored near the entrance to the bay. I ordered the object removed from the water for inspection. Several days later, however, I was surprised to see another floating there. The missing object had apparently and quite mysteriously been replaced with a new one overnight. I've long been aware of the existence of similar artifacts of the villagers' island, and have paid them little notice until now. Tomorrow I shall send surveyors to catalogue the others. So yes, that was the one I mentioned that we saw floating in the water, which is this one. So I think that's just a page of his journal here. So let's read the other one, it verbatim. Okay, so this is really far back. It's 1982, so a couple of years before. February 13th, 1982. Or at least I think it's 1982. He could be cataloging it as just 82 from probably the years after Dunny fell. I'm just going to catalog it as 1982. The latest ink formulation has proven a failure. Even when writing in my most promising books, I obtain only the barest glimmer of a connection. It is frustrating to expend so much effort creating a blank book, only to end up destroying it when it doesn't work. There are days when the lab is uncomfortably warm from the flames of these failed attempts. The further I refine each element, the formulations of inks and papers, the physical dimensions of the books, the more I realize that the list of potential combinations is nearly infinite. It is during moments like these that I despair. Without access to Dunny, my long-term goals may never be accomplished. Nevertheless, there are avenues of research which remain to be explored. May 8th, 1982. I am discontinuing regular observations of the stars beneath the fissure. Although I've been able to track the dark cloud-like formations that migrate through the star field and have proven that their paths are cyclical, without proper instrumentation, it is pointless to continue. My general theory concerning the nature of the fissure has remained unaltered since it first appeared. It seems that the fabric of this age has been breached in a way that permits matter to be hospitably exchanged between two discrete but overlapping spaces, much like a link. But the apparent physical contradictions surrounding this junction defy logical reason. The great column of wind that was formed when the fissure first appeared suggests a vacuum as one might expect in space, yet my early experimentations reveal the presence of a breathable atmosphere. That Atris and Catherine threw themselves into the void is further evidence that it might be safe to travel, but without knowing its true nature, I cannot take the risk myself. It is also difficult to say what would happen if I were to reopen it after so long, but it is likely that the results would be catastrophic, given the changes that have occurred in this age since that time. Maintenance on the steam vent caps completed. February 10th, 1983. I am extremely pleased with the continued success of this system. I believe the construction to have been true to the dunny designs of my memory. Another example of the superiority of the dunny technology. It's ironic that Atris and Catherine unwittingly provided me with such a convenient source of power. As with many of my views over the years, my thoughts regarding the origin of the fissure have changed. I have recently begun to wonder whether it was actually an unexpected byproduct of the changes Catherine and Atris wrote into this age during their escape. Certainly, by casting their linking book into the void, they trapped me here quite effectively. But I do not believe that Atris intended the book to be lost in this manner. Much better to destroy it than to risk the possibility of its falling into unknown hands. Although, also, had they foreseen the creation of the fissure, they would surely have thought that the vacuum it created would eventually consume the atmosphere of this planet, a fate which Catherine undoubtedly would have deemed unacceptable for her home world. If I had not been there to supervise the construction of the seal, this is most certainly what would have happened, for the villagers were far too frightened to even approach the vortex without my urging. I hold on to the belief that it was an unintended consequence of their writing for another reason as well. I prefer to think that my son had meant for this age to be merely a prison for me, rather than a death sentence. May 14th, 1983. I noticed, did he also write on the other date of May 14th as well? That was May 8th. Seems to like to write in February and May, apparently, huh? All right. May 14th, 1983. The construction of the imagers has proceeded without fault. It is interesting to see how easily I've been able to adapt the dunny technology to mimic that of the Ahmad. In some ways, the similarities between the two cultures was striking. I wonder if perhaps there had been communication or commerce between the two cultures in earlier times. Maybe Keta's people were even descendants of the dunny. It pleases me to think so. So we have the visualizer. Note, it's possible that if I were somehow able to supply the books with a power source of sufficient magnitude, I could suppress the variance enough to facilitate a strong link. It is doubtful that the geothermal cap generators could provide such an enormous surge. Perhaps I could adapt the fire marbles. I have been cataloging the natural elements of this age for nearly 30 years now, yet still I continue to find evidence of the dunny's preoccupation with 5. As a boy, it was very clear to me that the number 5 had a special significance to the dunny society. From the ancient heraldic emblems of the ruling elite to the humble homes of the commoners, it was ubiquitous. Its presence here is obviously a direct reflection of the minds that designed the texts that I used to compose this age. Further proof that through their art, the dunny masters were indeed creating the marvelous worlds they wrote, and not, as many have mistakenly thought, merely building links to pre-existing worlds. Yeah, that is the kind of that is the one thing that's like whether or not that is true. I think Atris is more so right. You are breaking it's a double-edged sword. You're making a link to a world, but you're also in doing so somehow gaining power over it through the link to a degree. Also, you mentioned here he's been working on this for 30 years. One thing I didn't mention about the dunny, they are very long-lived. Dunny live on average about 300 years, as opposed to humans living 100 years. All right. While most of my constructions have been based on Dunny designs, I see now that the ones that I have imbued with the power of 5 are clearly the most beautiful, the most perfect, and I believe the most structurally sound. I am still attempting to determine how the Dunny color symbology reflects this superior design principle, although superficially it is based on a 6-color system. I am convinced that there has to be a deeper connection to 5. I will continue to investigate. So these things are based in color, which potentially here you see them in a certain order. It could be symbolic of just RGB, you know. I'm going to write this down. Oh, hold on now. It's actually... Okay, no. That's a slit. It was hard to see, but that's a dot. The third one is not a slit, it's a dot. You can't really tell because it's super blurry. But yeah, that's a dot because it's the eye opening and closing. So I think that first one, it's red, that one's orange, that one's yellow, the blue. Oh wait, why did I skipped green? Why did I skip green? God. Blue, purple. Theoretically. I think I'm right. Just context clues. Why would he do them in that order if it wasn't that color range? And well, we'll see. Maybe it'll tell me later. All right, so what's next? Hello. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's see. 9/11. September 11th, 1983. I finally made a breakthrough. I have succeeded in modifying the 5 marbles to generate enough power to hold a descriptive linking book. Did I say that? Yeah, descriptive linking book. In a staple matrix. I have linked to a new world. It is a harsh and desolate age, but nonetheless well suited for my purposes. So I have deemed it my... Hold on, I know the numbers. That is age 90 is 98. Age 98. I'm going to write that down. By studying it closely, I believe it will eventually be able to create a more appropriate age for us to resettle on. For now, I will rebuild an office and set up my living quarters there in order that I may conduct my experiments in safety without distinction. Let's see here. See, I see here we have some more sketches. I'm mainly going to be reading this and then conversing a bit. Let's see. I must admit that I am proud of my work to think that in such primitive conditions, I have accomplished in 29 years what it took the original Dunny centuries to achieve. Note, repair outerwear for work on this world. The goggles may need to be redesigned altogether. All right. We have April 13th. Homestuck. April 13th, 1984. I have begun construction on a series of link sites for each island that will connect Riven with my new office on 98. And yes, I can see. I need to read this. On 98. The Survey Guild has finally completed the site location for each island. According to my exact specifications, the installation of the domes is underway at last. Work on the central power source got off to a bit of a bad start, I'm afraid, but the pace has picked up considerably since then. I anticipate no further delays. I am looking forward to finally having a civilized mode of transportation. Let me see here. These are representational of the islands. Each of these little dot symbols. I'm sure it's going to connect to here a little bit later. We'll see. But due to this rebels' continued disturbances, I've decided to install a coded access system into all the domes. So here we have the dome code. Let me write this down. This is da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. So this is going to take me a second. So this is, first one is 4. Second one is 5. The third one is, I believe, to be 20. And then 21. And then that last one. 22. Right? Yeah. I'm gonna sneeze. I sneeze. No, it's. So yes, to your question there, I do daily streaming. Right, it's kind of an off and on thing with this. I mainly just playing what I'd like to. I did Deltarune a little while ago. And I usually record and then I upload it to my YouTube, which you probably find link there. Alright. Let's see here. Next up, I read the, let's see. Alright, June 7th, 1985. I caught one of my assistants looking over this journal today. I'm glad I've chosen to write it in a language they cannot decipher. Note, discuss security with each guild member. No problems expected from the maintainers, educators, and surveyors. Question the bookmakers and builders more closely. October 24th, 1986. Today I heard several more reports of spirit sightings by some of the villagers. It seems that under Catherine's leadership, the rebels, or the Black Moiety, as the villagers obstinately insist on referring to them, have attained a new level of sophistication in their terror tactics, and have renewed their campaign to intimidate the villagers into joining them, playing upon their shared superstitions. The villagers are certainly susceptible to this form of coercion, especially given of late the rebels' increasing acts of vandalism and theft. January 15th, 1987. The Yittram traps have been steadily fruitful this year. Apparently, the breakup of the islands has not adversely affected the subterranean ecosystems. Oh, Yittram. Yatram. I think that's the frog thing we came across. All right. Unfortunately, I imagine the rebels are experiencing a similarly generous harvest, no shortage of poison for their darts this season. So poison frogs. Such morbid issues aside, the sudden availability has allowed me to refine a particularly pleasant extraction for my pipe, one that is smoother than any of the others from recent years. Gehn getting high on frogs while he's in Riven. Oh man. Also, that explains in the beginning when the guy got poison darted where the poison comes from. It comes from the frogs. All right. So now we're getting up to recent times. March 29th, 1987. Chemical analysis of one of the rebel knives has yielded curious results. Its composition contains elements that are unlike anything I've encountered on the islands. It appears they have access to a resource of which I am unaware. Perhaps a mine or an uncharted island. Yeah, I love the moiety dagger. Note: most of the knives have been found on the south side of the village. This is the same area in which there have been reports of people mysteriously disappearing. I think a closer inspection of the area is warranted. The fact that they leave these distinctive knives as a sign of their presence concerns me. They're growing more bold, and seem to no longer fear discovery of their hideout. June 27th, 1987. The latest measurements indicate that the recent trend has continued. The movement of the islands has slowed tremendously. My previous estimates predicted a total collapse in approximately 3 months, but with the new figures, I am uncertain. I have nearly finished writing the 99th age, and I have every faith that it will indeed be a safe place for us to relocate to. Yet it would be helpful to know what has caused the halt of this age's breakup. Is it possible that it's stable at all, after all? If so, I must discover how this age differs from my less successful attempts. My examinations of the 98th age have thus far proven inconclusive. Or perhaps someone is repairing the damage to the 5th age? If so, it would almost certainly be Atrus's doing. I have reluctantly decided to abandon my experiments into the behavior of the water of this age, and there are more pressing matters on which I must now concentrate, leaving me little time for such speculative research. For future reference, however, my investigations up to this point have revealed the following. I believe the remarkable properties of the water to be caused by a life form that resides in it, specifically a type of bacteria. I am imagining a motile unicellular organism, but one with structures capable of holding bits of water, whose combined effect, via surface tension, a stronger force, causes the composite body of water to move in response to heat. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat, for example, a period of extended boiling, seems to kill the bacteria, which would explain its dramatic aversion to heat sources. Unfortunately, these theories are still not fully tested. I remain ignorant both of its deeper nature and its possible uses. Oh, I just realized something. So, you remember the boiler was actually the water in there was actually boiling, which is different from how the water normally, if it was hot on the bottom, the water should have moved away from the heat source. Maybe unless it's like gravity pulls it down. It might not, unless like the whole structure, the whole chamber is heated, which then boiled the bacteria out of it, potentially. Interesting. All right, July 6, 1987. An exciting development. Last night, a squad of maintainers stumbled upon a lone rebel scout and obtained from him a most incredible device. It is a crystal that somehow powers these flawed linking books, much as my own system does, but with an obvious advantage. It is small and weighs only a few pounds, making it completely portable. Catherine must have fabricated the device before I captured her, obviously with an explicit dunny schematic she must have brought with her to this age. If only I'd had access to such a document all these years. Regardless, I can now concentrate solely on the writing of ages, and need no longer worry about building elaborate power supplies for each new book I write. This is sobering reminder, however, that I must continue to seek an avenue to Dunny regarding regaining access to the resources there may be crucial to the completion of my mission. Okay, so this we'll see later, this thing. Alright, I think that was it. Pretty sure. I think we read all his book. Yeah, I can't go any further. Alright, what's my time at? Alrighty. Well, I think I'm out of time. It's been an hour. I read a good chunk of the book. So next time, I think I'm going to end it here. And next time, I'm going to explore Gehn's laboratory here a little more extensively. Just to poke around a bit. Yeah, we're chugging through this game. I don't know how far exactly we are. It's been a while since I played it, but we are making good headway. I am remembering the overall system of the puzzles as last time. I think one thing that's different, it might be randomly generated, the dome code that we found, which I'll also show you what that does later, but we're not going to actually go anywhere with it. All right. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. I'll pick this up a little later. And yeah, hope you enjoy my stuff, my reading of Gehn's writing. And yeah, I can't wait for this to come out as a remake. Please, Cyan, hurry up with your ports. I want to play this on the 5. All right. All right. Take care, everybody. Ciao, ciao.